Hello and welcome back to another episode of SuperCoach Insider. My name is Ben.
And I'm Chris.
And thank you for joining us. It's been a little long day. We're covering 6 teams each week.
With technical difficulties taking up most of that time.
Yes.
So we do apologise.
And believe it or not, this is what Chris actually looks like.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Crazy, eh? I was going to go Hulk after a...
The stress.
So,
The stress of it all. So,
by the way, just before we go a little bit further into the North Melbourne podcast, I had a bit of a comment about my hair on online. So some of the guys on Big Footy mentioned that I'm a part of a forum called Big Footy. And so if the guys are watching out there, yes, this is my natural hair colour, but the actual black is dyed in. So I've been going grey since I was 16 years old.
He had to pay extra for that kind of action.
Yeah. My dad went is the same. It's a hereditary thing. I'm Maltese, just in case you wanted to know, whatever.
Are you Maltese?
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Anyway,
I thought it was a kind of dog.
So I've been dyeing my hair. It is. I've been dyeing my hair literally since I was 16 years old, and it started going grey real slowly, but then now it's like full head, so like whatever. And for the first time in my life, I decided to grow it out. So this is me.
Right. This is something you could have saved for your journal.
Yeah, no, I was gonna, probably. But
anyway,
just wanted to know, for those out there, I'm only 33 years old. I'm not ancient. So, I just had a bit of feedback. Just letting everyone know.
Biggest views are ancient.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Okay, North Melbourne, they have the third hardest draw, which is not fortunate for them.
Definitely not.
Why can't they just die? Why won't you die? They just keep doing well. Even I tipped them for being pretty low, and then they won a good string of games. Granted, they lost the first one against Gold Coast in the wet.
Yeah,
but
they can pop up and be competitive when they want to be.
Yeah. All thanks to Benny Brown. So
literally, yeah.
Yep. So their double games are Hawthorn, Geelong, Port, Essendon, and Brisbane. So they've got a few there. Like realistically, Hawthorn, Essendon, Brisbane are ones that Hawthorn and them, Essendon and them usually have a pretty good rivalry.
Yep.
So and Hawks should be a bit weaker, depending on we're yet to see the full extent of the Titch injuries.
Yeah.
It's easy for us to write them off up here, but
a lot of those guys, except with Hawthorn without Titch, you just don't know. But Geelong still should be strong.
Yes.
Port getting stronger.
Essendon
getting stronger.
Brisbane the same.
Getting stronger.
Yeah.
Tough draft.
It is, but they do have a great start as far as good starts could possibly go. So they verse Fremantle, Brisbane, Hawthorn, Adelaide, Bombers, Port, and then Carlton.
Okay.
So as far as North goes, it wouldn't be a bad thing to start on someone, particularly rookies if they get a game. Could get on a really good roll.
Or maybe a nice cheeky little mid-pricer that can raise in value really early in the season.
Possibly. Or Higgins just starts off with a flyer.
Good old Higgins.
Good old Higgins.
Good on him for turning up this year.
Good old Higgins. He's the only one that really raises the eyebrows, I think. Who used to think that he was a burn man?
Yeah, right.
So we're just going to add a little tribute to Higgins here.
Yeah, why not? Get into it, I say.
It's not a minute silence because we don't stay quiet for that long, but you can watch the Shaun Higgins just there. So we will go through a few of their... the round 14 bye is shared with Adelaide, Carlton, Suns, Giants and Richmond.
Yep.
So not a bad bye to have if you did have somebody part of that. Not so much for an upgrade, but definitely to start with.
Yep.
And not that there's many people from North Melbourne that you would want to start with, except for maybe Goldie or Shaun Higgins if you're daring enough. But yeah, in the off-season, this is probably one of the main things, is that they're very active in the off-season. They went to the draft the year before and got Luke Davis-Uniacke and a few people there.
Here's my thing. Do they think they're in a window?
I think I don't know.
Because they went out and drafted like they think they're in a window.
But they did draft people that are still fairly young. So maybe it's like the sneaky behind the scenes kind of thing. It's like the magic where you look over here, but then something else over here happens. Misdirection. Right?
I like it.
So what they're doing is they're bringing in some half talented people over here. Misdirection. Still Kelly because he thinks the team's good. Oh wait, look at this talent. Look at this talent in your side, and then they still Kelly.
Josh Kelly.
Yeah.
The sky will fall. Why would a talent like Josh Kelly go to North?
Well, because look, they got Pollock, right? They got Aaron Hall. They got all these big grade.
There's no room in there for Josh Kelly. That's what I'm thinking.
And I will forever be harsh on Jared Pollock. Forever, forever harsh.
Fair enough.
And I'll get into that. But they brought in Aaron.
The go home factor. He wanted to go home.
Hey, I've just forgiven Elliot. Yo, do not start.
Yeah, but at least he's actually gone home.
Do not start.
Pollock's now gone home to go somewhere else.
No, he moved for a girl this time. He can't make up his mind.
Ah, okay, cool.
Jesus, next he'll move for religion.
Jeez.
Okay, so they also got Jasper Pittard, part of the Steak Knives in the Polex set, and Dom Tyson. So they did lose Bruce. So look, I think they have definitely included a lot more talent to their team.
They've just decided that Goldie's the one that is their number one ruck, and they're going to stand by him until they get another number one ruck. And Bruce, unfortunately, while he was valuable to them in the future, I don't think he could hold on any longer. And
they got Tyson for
good
him.
enough to play in the AFL. Yeah.
Each side sees value.
I honestly think
for it.
They're probably equal value. You know, Dom Tyson's a midfielder that could get better. Bruce is a ruckman that could get better.
Yeah, true.
And they're both fringe players, so even though Bruce will definitely be playing.
Oh, look at that tackle.
Get in there.
Nailed him. Good on Higgins. Well, he's definitely primo number one I've got for me. But look, if you want to stop that, Chris, now. Oh, geez. Another goal.
Sure.
How good was his grubber goal, though? Let's face it. We've still got plenty of highlights. Leave him go. Let him go.
This is the best of Sean Higgins in 2018.
Oh, let the highlights go.
Let him go.
Zeeble, one time he let up for a mark. It's great.
That's not very fair. I don't mind Zeeble this year.
I don't mind either.
I think he actually had more impact playing forward than he did in midfield.
And he's got the good biceps for that fist pump. Rookies to note, Tom Wilkinson, 102k forward.
Yep.
Recruited from Southport, so he did actually come... he was a small forward, passed over in 4 drafts, before being snagged with pick 41 in the rookie draft. He won best and fairest with Sandringham.
Sandringham, yeah.
In the VFL, took a year off, returned to Williamstown, then jetted to Queensland to play for Southport Sharks to get some opportunity. Slotted 35 goals. And look, I think Rounds North 1 team is definitely up in the air, I think.
Rounds North 1 team? You mean Round 1 team?
North Round 1 team?
I prefer Rounds North 1.
Rounds North 1?
Rounds North 1, standing by.
Look, their starting lineup is far from complete. There could be a spot for him in that forward pocket.
There definitely could be.
He completed... so he actually came second in their 2 kilometre, and he won their yo-yo test.
Nice.
So I think he'll be competing with the likes of like a Kane Turner or something, but there could be a position there for him. He's only 102k, so he might actually get the nod to play. So
as long as he can get on the park more than Mason Wood can, I think he's got a spot there that he can win.
Well, yeah, correct. So he averaged 93 in SuperCoach for that. So here's my big smoky is Ben McKay.
Yep.
123k defender. He is my smoky.
Is it McKay or Mackie? Oh,
McKay?
No, it's definitely McKay.
McKay, right. Yeah. So, brother of Harry from Carlton.
Okay.
So, here's a good raps on this. I was big on him already, but Sean Higgins believes that defender Ben McKay is set for a breakout year in 2019 after returning to pre-season training in tip-top shape. The way he's come back, the size he's at, and the way he's running and moving around, we expect him to play a lot of senior football this year. 6th in the 2K time trial before Christmas. He's put on 10 kilograms since he got to the club.
And is doing PBs. I like it.
So he's put on 10 kilograms and adapted to play the style and improve his running capacity. So he was picked 21 in 2015. So he's been a project player. So he's been in the system for 3 years, biding his time. But Scott Thompson was obviously the number one. He's a big boy.
Mm-hmm.
Huge boy. So his nickname is Buckets for his marking ability. The only possible catch is, this is the only caution that I give, he's going to most likely start round 1.
Yep.
Which is awesome news, except for the fact that you don't know if Scott Thompson's going to take that back in round 2 when he comes back from suspension.
Yes.
So, hopefully he doesn't, but he's a big key defender, which might not rule well, but it looks like he's an intercept player. He's running PBs, he's big, he's put on some muscle, he's ready for this moment, and It'll
all depend on his JLT scoring at the end of the day. Yeah. If he shows enough that it's like, I can't ignore you, then you've got to pick him.
Well, he's pretty much my Collins 60k cheaper equivalent.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough.
Yep.
A
key defender.
And just as likely to not to play or not play.
Correct. And he's 60k cheaper, which means you can then free up another primo line, like upgrade there. So that's pretty much
I like it.
Yeah, I'm big on him. Yeah. I am very big on the Ben. Okay, so premiums, Sean Higgins, who you just had a little snippet of.
Yep.
7 120 plus scores, which is good for that VC option. He is very consistent. However, 9 scores under 100.
Yep.
So the only benefit part of that is only 4 were below 92, so he will most likely get you a 92 and above. Good for draft. I don't mind him.
Great for draft, but he's not going up, is he?
No, I don't. Well, now you got more midfield. Well, now you've got more midfield depth. So does he get more ball extraction or more ball on the outside and increase his points that way? Because he won't have to do it alone. Because Cunnington only plays like 75% time on ground, so he's not doing anything.
Yeah, what's happened to Cunnington?
He should be pushing 80 plus time on ground.
He's been in the system long enough.
His time on ground is horrible. He is not a runner.
Can't get around with that rig of his.
Yeah, he's from the farm. It's like he's driving a Mack truck out there. I tell you what. Anyway, so the only problem was after he did that little bit of an injury, he missed 1 week, came back out. He only had 1 score over 92 in his last 5 rounds. So that's where his average dropped because he hurt himself, took a week off, and then came back, which was crazy.
Well, were they trying to get back
in the window?
Into the finals?
I think so. Yeah. Todd Goldstein is another smoky. Started off the year horribly for those that picked him.
Yeah, he did.
Well, for his standard anyway, for what you were doing. So he had, from round 9, he actually averaged 110.6, which is huge. 12 hundreds, 2 scores under 100, and only 1 under 95.
Wow.
Yeah, in that period. So he had 9 times 110, including 5 times 120 and 2 times 130.
On board late last year.
Yeah, and he averaged for 110 average, he was probably the 3rd best ruck.
And that's it.
At that period, so...
The only reason why you wouldn't choose Goldie is because you've already got Grundy and you can't afford Goldie. If you can get Goldie as well, if it fits in your structure, then by all means, go for it.
So he's probably only...
I need it to get the team that I want at the moment. Yes. I need to go cheaper.
Correct, and I'm with you. I think it's a mid-price market. That's exactly how I'm feeling. Aaron Hall is... I'm down to mid-prices now because that's it for the premiums.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's it.
I was going to say.
And even then, that's kind of loose premiums except for Goldie, who is an actual premium.
Yeah, right.
But I put Higgins in there to be kind because he is kind of around that premium range.
I like Higgins.
Yeah, I like him too.
Everyone loves Higgins.
Everyone loves him when he's on the park.
Yeah, when he's out there scoring. He's actually just... when he moves with the ball.
He reminds me of like Anchorman because his hair is just so immaculate. Like all the time.
And his suit's so fine. It makes what is
and
it?
He smells of rich. And he smells of rich mahogany. Okay, so mid prices. I've got Aaron Hall. So he got 110 then 137.
Yep.
Round 8 and 9 before being dropped again.
Yeah.
So
did he get dropped or was it injury?
Probably injury actually. Yeah, injury and. Draft smoky. So in 2016, he averaged 95.5. 2017, averaged 92.3.
He typically starts seasons really well. He goes bang.
Well, especially with their draw, he could actually start off really well. He could start off averaging over 100.
Well, the thing is with Aaron Hall is that they actually have come out and said he's playing inside midfielder. Now, I'm interested, but I need to see it because there's inside midfielder and there's inside midfielder. So,
because he was notoriously outside.
Yeah. He scored better when he was outside, getting handball receives, like coming through on the halfback flank.
I thought
he can clear the ball.
North had it enough inside mids, surely.
His thing is he wasn't a two-way player. So why would you have a non-two-way player playing inside mid?
Well, what he would do is he would start behind at the back of the
running through,
and he'll run through because he only has to run one way.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
It's like Dustin Martin, just keep going to the forward line.
Well, it's like Treloar before we sent Treloar those new boots of his.
Exactly he was right.
Running one way. So
so that's going to be the knock on him this year. I don't know whether or not that helps his game or hinders his game. But yeah, his knock on him is that he's not a two-way runner. He doesn't run defensively. He doesn't put tackle pressure on. He gets the ball and he's a long kick, and he's definitely a good kick. So he can get the ball in space, kick the ball long, and he scores really well when he does so.
Yep.
So I think that I want to watch him in the JLT before saying I'm going to spend 400k on you because he's 394k.
Yeah, that's fair.
But will I be selecting him over Dean Hanbury? Definitely not.
No.
Will I be selecting him over Anthony Miles? Probably not either.
Liberatore? Also cheaper.
Probably not. No, because it's 100. That's 100k.
Exactly. So that's the conundrum. The next one I have is a mid-pricer. It's more of a draft, possibility, draft smoky. Jasper Pittard. As a proven scorer for Port before falling out of favour.
Yep.
Good for draft avoid in standard because he won't get you the high highs, as we call them, in the
he's
biz.
just soft.
Yep.
Honestly, he's, again, like, don't worry about getting a contested ball there, Jasper.
But he could be the one to get the extraction.
Where you going with Jasper? Where you going on this rain? That's so. Our country. Shut up.
You're right. Another mid-pricer is Luke McDonald, who some might put in their burn man avoid category, some might put in the draft smoky.
Yep.
Depending on where you sit. I think Chris is sitting on the never touch again. I'm
not
sitting on
touching Luke McDonald.
And I'm sitting on the draft smoky.
No,
so
no chance.
Look, his year was that bad. It was that disappointing. He had one score of 90 and one score of a 135. Otherwise, all horrible scores.
Yep.
So some would say avoid the risk, and I'm saying save the risk for draft because he does provide value. Even if you pick him close to what he's averaging now, he can't get much worse than that. And if he is, you just get rid of him on the waiver for someone who's doing better. But
maybe, but I just
also
think
for draft.
I think there's better value in their defence. So someone I'm looking at is Jamie McMillan. So he averaged 81, but he was second in kickouts with Scott with 79, and Scott Thompson had 85. So I think if this is Scott Thompson's last year, which I can only imagine it's going to be Scott Thompson's last year.
I think he'll get overtaken.
I think he'll start taking less games, and the kickouts will be taken over by Jamie McMillan, and therefore I can see him averaging 85 to 90. So,
but if you can trust one guy with a long boot to run 10 metres and belt it comes to Luke McDonald.
Look, I'm not saying he's not.
If you're trying to get it up to the wing for a stoppage, you would give it to Luke McDonald, say run 10 metres and belt at 70.
If I'm choosing a value selection defender in draft for North Melbourne, it's not Luke McDonald.
It is Luke McDonald. Don't be deterred by this man. Luke McDonald.
Also, Jasper Pittard's averaged 91 before, so just keep an eye on him.
Chris, you were about to start him in your standard side last year, Luke McDonald. And
now
you've jumped off the train.
He was on the verge of a breakout, and then he just ended up completely dropping off a cliff.
So, but his talent hasn't gone nowhere.
It's true.
He's still on the verge of breakout. You've just been burnt, my friend, and are picking with your head and your heart, probably.
No, man.
Anyway, so draft specials, I've got Dom Tyson.
Yep.
Aaron Hall, Jasper Pittard, Luke McDonald, based on the draft smokies. We will include Dumont in that as well.
Yes, Dumont.
He is restricted until light duties until after Christmas, so probably around now. But my only problem is that they've just added more mids to the mix. Polak, Tyson, Hall. You know, is his role going to change? Is it going to be different? But you have some good stats on him for the end of last year.
I do, yeah. So last 9 games, he averaged 93.9. He averaged 83 for the year, and the last 5 he averaged 113. However, that is massively inflated because he had a 162 in the final round of the year. So
who'd they play in the final round?
I don't know.
That's okay. No, we don't have to find out. We don't have to find out, Chris.
Fair enough.
It's okay.
So I think he's a breakout contender. I would never start with him in standard, but draft he only averaged 83 for the year. Yeah. You can take a risk on him. You might get him on a bench.
Yeah, but
mid bench.
But yeah, 83 for the year. It's probably more like 73 and inflated by 10 based on that 160.
Well, yeah,
close to.
Well, it'd be like
So then where's the value? You add 3 more mids to the mix, and then what does he get? So I'd rather.
I mean, 93 over 9's not.
Yeah, I'd still rather let someone else take that risk. For me, I think I'd rather let someone else take that risk. I have players to avoid. I have Ben Brown.
Okay.
I know he could be a breakout possibility, but he had end of season hip surgery and was restricted until Christmas coming back, so he's probably only just getting going now. For a big boy,
he's against the Saints, by the way.
Just getting going against the Saints. Oh, fair enough. Good game. So he's only just getting going. The problem is he averaged 57 in his last 6 rounds.
Yeah, I know. He really had a tough back end.
But he had high highs.
He did have high highs.
In the biz, so he had a 116, a 120, a 120, a 128, and a 167.
He's the one that can win you a draft game.
He could.
He's won you draft games.
Oh no, he won me draft games, and then I got rid of him because he wasn't scoring well.
Yeah.
And I was keeping Ed Anderson and whatever else. But here are the lows to go with those highs, Chris. 21.
Yeah, I know.
First round in the wet, 30.
I looked into that because I was like, did he get injured that game?
No,
he just scored 21.
It was a wet game in Cairns in a monsoon season.
Yeah.
I hope they're not doing that this year. That's horrible.
They shouldn't do it this early. No. They did it last year because of the China game.
Yes, 21, 30, 45, 58, 58. Yeah. Draft value only really because and he's heavily reliant on goals and getting around the ground for marks.
Definitely, and he gets his meters gained from running 40 meters at the mark.
And I have avoid Jasper Pittard. I've got down here sellout.
Jared Pollock.
Jared Pollock sellout.
Fair enough. The only other one I wanted to highlight was
I'm not done.
Oh, okay.
Jared Pollock sellout. Never again. Just Mate, seriously, you can't move.
So good.
You can't move Brisbane.
It's going to a winning team.
Oh, yeah, he left Brisbane
He
to
went
Port.
Brisbane to go to Port.
To go
'cause
home.
He thought they were going somewhere.
Yeah, and to move home. And now he's moved to North for them. But to be fair, if I was going to get paid overs from North Melbourne...
is he on like 800 grand a year or something stupid?
After your one good season, I would take that money too.
Oh, I'd run.
Yep, exactly. So his first 6, he averaged 108.
Yep.
His last 6, he averaged 97. And in the middle, he averaged 85. Best return he's ever had. I can't see it happening because he was getting so much outside ball. He was good. He had a good year.
Yeah.
But I just don't like Pollock.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Jed Anderson's won in draft again, so he averaged 79 in his first real hit at a season because he's just been injured and hasn't had a run at it because of the Hawks.
He did look good.
And he just had a few games where you're like, and there's some games where he scored really well, didn't come back on for a quarter, and you're like, what's happening here? But I think that if he got more mid minutes, the problem is, does he get the mid time that he got last year? Because I don't think he does. So even though he did,
maybe then he'll play half forward, but he's a midfielder.
He's just one to watch. I'm interested to see his role. I'm interested to see how he progresses. He could be one to keep an eye on during the season. Maybe you don't start with him in draft. You probably don't need to, being an average of 79 on the waiver unless you're really deep. And then you just keep an eye on him, watch his average each week, and then pick him up if he's going really well.
Yeah,
but
I think he'll still. I don't think
he'll
last. Even
someone will pick him up.
Even in a 10-man league, I think someone will pick him up at a 79 average. Yeah, because normally we would
He's only mid-only this year.
Oh, well,
he's not mid-forward this year.
Not
That's
then.
the difference.
Yeah, all right, well, that'll probably then leave it. But I think that pretty much sums us up for North Melbourne. I am interested to see what they're doing, and it's hard to speculate too much at this point in time because, like I said, the amount of ins that they've just brought in, and they're all like midfielders. So you got Polak, Hall, both notoriously outside, but then, saying Hall's going inside. Tyson, who's probably going to actually improve by trying to get a bit more inside minutes.
Where does that leave Cunnington? Where does that leave Higgins?
Well, not only that, and Zeeble is also apparently always injured. Or it never has a preseason, but apparently he's going to get more preseason than he has in the last few years. So, who knows
I think
if
he's better as a forward than he is as a...
Yeah, correct. But even then, he's only draft relevant. But
it's
interesting.
Then like Dumont, what happens with him?
Because what happens with him?
He wants more mid-time. Anderson wants more mid-time.
Yep.
Everyone wants mid-time, but what's their mid-mix going to be like? You can't get 3 seasoned veterans into a new team and go, oh yeah, well, I know that this is going to happen. They probably don't even know until the JLT.
No,
so.
I think it'll be form and just based on trial and error as to what works out. So stay tuned for that one.
I think one thing you can count on is that Goldie's.
Yeah, I think Goldie will be good, and apart from that, I think Sean Higgins is probably the next one for a draft.
Yep.
Otherwise, it's horses for courses, and you're trying to get an 80 to a 90 average from some of these guys.
Try and get value out of it,
Yeah, that's about it. All right, well, thank you very much for having us, and we'll be with you again shortly.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
Bye.